Imagine it's 1947. The British Empire is withdrawing from India, leaving behind a subcontinent partitioned into two new nations, India and Pakistan. It was a time of immense hope, but also of unprecedented turmoil. And at the heart of this storm was a beautiful, mountainous region that would become the epicenter of a conflict lasting for decades. Kashmir. This is the story of the first India-Pakistan War, a conflict born from the ashes of empire that set the stage for one of the world's most enduring rivalries. Before we dive in, let's set the scene. The princely states, over 500 of them, were given a choice: join India, join Pakistan, or, in theory, remain independent. For most, the decision was straightforward, based on geography or the religion of their population. But Kashmir was different. It was a princely state with a Muslim-majority population, but it was ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, Hari Singh. He dreamt of an independent Kashmir, a Switzerland of the East, and delayed his decision, hoping to negotiate with both new countries. But time was not on his side. In Pakistan, many felt that Kashmir, with its Muslim majority, naturally belonged to them. The delay was seen as a precursor to joining India. This impatience boiled over into action. In October 1947, thousands of Pashtun tribesmen from Pakistan's northwest frontier province, unofficially supported by elements within the Pakistani state, launched an invasion into Kashmir. They called it a jihad to liberate their Muslim brethren. Equipped with modern weapons, they moved swiftly, capturing several towns and heading towards the capital, Srinagar. The Maharaja's state forces were quickly overwhelmed. As the tribal Lashkar, a term for a tribal militia, advanced, chaos ensued. They were closing in on Srinagar, and the fall of the capital seemed imminent. Faced with the complete collapse of his state and his own potential capture, Maharaja Hari Singh made a desperate plea for help to India. But India had a condition. Lord Mountbatten, the Governor-General of India, advised that Indian troops could only be sent if Kashmir legally became part of India. There was no other way. With the raiders just miles from his capital, the Maharaja had no choice. On October 26, 1947, he signed the Instrument of Accession, formally acceding the state of Jammu and Kashmir to the Dominion of India. The very next morning, on October 27th, the Indian army was airlifted into Srinagar. The race to save the city had begun. The first Indian soldiers landed at a besieged airfield, with enemy forces practically at the gates. It was a high-stakes gamble. Their arrival was just in the nick of time. The Indian soldiers, though outnumbered initially, managed to halt the advance of the tribesmen at the Battle of Shalating on the outskirts of Srinagar. It was a decisive victory that pushed the invaders back and secured the Kashmir Valley for the time being. This marked the beginning of a full-scale war. What had started as a tribal invasion now saw the direct involvement of the Indian army. And soon, the regular Pakistan army would officially join the fray, although they had been providing support all along. The war then spread across the vast and difficult terrain of Kashmir. The fighting was brutal, fought in freezing high-altitude conditions for which neither side was fully prepared. The Indian army pushed the invaders out of the Kashmir Valley, but the conflict bogged down in the more rugged, mountainous regions of what is now known as Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. Key battles were fought for control of strategic towns like Poonch, Uri, and Skarju. The Siege of Poonch, where Indian forces held out for over a year, became a legendary chapter in the Indian Army's history. Meanwhile, on the international stage, India took the issue to the newly formed United Nations in January 1948, hoping for a quick resolution. India accused Pakistan of aggression and asked the UN to compel them to withdraw their forces and the tribesmen. Pakistan counter-accused India, claiming the accession was fraudulent and that they were merely supporting a local uprising. The UN Security Council passed Resolution 47, which called for a ceasefire, the withdrawal of Pakistani forces, and a plebiscite vote by the people of Kashmir to decide their own future after. The region was demilitarized. However, implementing this resolution proved impossible. The first step was a ceasefire, which finally came into effect on January 1, 1949, marking the official end of the war. A ceasefire line was established, which we now know as the Line of Control, or LOC. This line effectively partitioned Kashmir. India was left in control of about two-thirds of the state, including the Kashmir Valley, Jammu, and Ladakh. Pakistan gained control of the western and northern parts, which they named Azad, Kashmir, and the northern areas now Gilgit-Baltistan. But the subsequent steps of the UN resolution, the withdrawal of troops, and the plebiscite never happened. Both sides accused the other of failing to meet the conditions. Pakistan never fully withdrew its forces, and India argued that without a complete withdrawal, a free and fair plebiscite was impossible. The deadlock was set, and the Kashmir issue became frozen in time, a permanent fixture of international diplomacy and a source of constant tension. The First Kashmir War had profound and lasting consequences. It solidified the enmity between India and Pakistan just months after their birth. It created a de facto border that remains one of the most militarized zones in the world. For the people of Kashmir, it was the beginning of a long and painful journey, caught between the ambitions of two powerful nations. The war claimed thousands of lives on both sides and displaced countless more. This conflict was not just a battle over territory. It was a clash of ideologies. For India, a secular nation holding on to Muslim-majority Kashmir was proof of its pluralistic identity. For Pakistan, founded as a homeland for Muslims, the K in its name stood for Kashmir, and its inclusion was seen as an unfinished part of the partition. These foundational beliefs have fueled the conflict ever since. The War of 1947–48 was the first chapter in a long and tragic saga. It set precedents, created grievances, and drew lines on a map that continue to bleed today. Understanding this first war is crucial to understanding the entire India-Pakistan relationship and the complex, deeply emotional issue that is Kashmir. It was a war with no clear victor, but one that created lasting losers, the generations of people affected by the ongoing conflict. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into a pivotal moment in South Asian history. If you found this informative, please hit that like button, subscribe for more historical content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious.